Welcome back to the podcast, y'all. Please, if you have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and support your girl. All right. It doesn't cost anything just to hit that button and support. That's what it's about, right? And if you're getting anything from my videos, go ahead and do so and click the like button for me while you're at it. All right. And as I always say, the playlist is your best friend because I do different things on the channel, but all you have to do is go to the playlist and you'll find the podcast there, you'll find the tarot readings there, you'll find all kinds of things. Okay, so just go to the playlist. It's as easy as that, just simple. All right, so let's get into the topic. The topic is, do you need to do anything before you connect to your higher self, to the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever you do, angels, whatever you call it, okay? Do you need to do a ritual before connecting? I'm going to say as a fact, you don't have to go, because I don't always do a ritual, right? I can connect because we're always connected. We're one. We're literally one with everything, right? Including source. We are source, right? We're connected. So you don't have to, but the fact that you do get drawn, and I want you to comment below. I'm sure that you get drawn to do something special before you begin, right? Like most of the time, because I don't always do a full ritual or anything like that, but most of the time I am drawn to do something, and I don't follow anybody else thinking that that's just the way you have to do something, right? I do my thing the way I feel to do it. Like if I am called to do incense and sage or Palo Santo, I'll do that if I'm called to do it. So there's no one way of doing something. I'm sorry to tell you, there's just no one way. You have an intuition for a reason, right? So your intuition will tell you what to do. Okay. But most of the time you do feel drawn to do something, right? So that is for a reason. So no, you don't have to, but then again, why did you feel drawn to do it, right? There's something special and something powerful in the rituals, in doing rituals, right? So it's kind of like a yes and no answer, because you don't have to, but you get drawn for a reason. You're drawn to it, so there's something to it. So do it when you are drawn to do it, okay? And I would tell you that don't let anyone tell you any differently, because your intuition is everything. I'm gonna keep saying that in all the podcasts. Your intuition is everything. All right. It's not about following other people. They can guide you, yes, but you don't have to adhere to what people are doing as law. Like this is the only way, is the way I gotta do it because so and so is world renowned, and this is the way it gotta be. No, okay. All right, it's not that way. Right? Don't worship people. We don't do that. But there's something to it, because there's elements, and the elements do have power in them. Fire is for a reason. Air, wind is for a reason. The elements do matter. And you have the elements also within yourself. We have those elements. We have air, we have fire. We do have those things in different forms, actually, okay, within ourselves. All right. We are made of elements. We have copper. We have all these things. So we're made up of those things. So it does mean something. It does hold a lot of power. All right. Water holds energy, right? So there's these experiments that they do with the water, where you can try it yourself. You don't just take people's word for things. You don't take people's word as a fact, right? You just don't hold them and say this is it. You have to try it yourself. You should always make sure what you're learning is the real deal. Okay, go out there and do your own research. All right, so those experiments that they do with the water, they put labels on them. Some people talk to the water, others just simply write a label. They're not even speaking energy. So even in the words, they're like your writing has energy, okay, to it, and it's also about your intention. when you're writing this word is you're writing the word love, you're writing the word hate, so you put it on to the water, and then the water will start to, and then you do this for plants too. You can do it for plants, but the water will start to turn a color. It won't look good anymore, right? And the water that has the word love written on it, or you speak the words to it. Remember, it's either or. You can do this experiment with writing it or saying it, and you speak it. You'll see that water just stays clean. It stays looking pure. All right. So there's definitely power in the words, of course, we speak. There's energy. Like I always say, there's energy in everything, but there's the water. It holds these things. So the elements do serve a purpose. The elements have different things you can do with it. Okay. So like I said, the example that the water does hold things. And what is our body made up of? So much water. So that's why when we speak certain things like affirmations or whatever we're doing, if it can be negative, the water in our bodies hold on to that, right? They're on our cells, everything. So that's why people are sick, a lot of the times. There are different reasons to be sick, don't get me wrong. There are different reasons, but when you are negative, right, and you're speaking negativity, your cells are holding on to it because there's water in your cells, and as we know, water holds on to it. So that's why you gotta practice being positive. Like I always say, because I'm not naive. I know that it's easier said than done. I'm not foolish. It's not like I'm telling you to do something that, like, I'm the holiest of holiest, and I'm doing this, walking around never ever getting angry, never ever being, a little bit down. It doesn't last long because I do practice what I preach. But I'm not saying that I am not human, right? I'm not saying that. I'm human, so I'm going to have these emotions, but practice makes perfect. If you practice not holding on to your anger or your depression, not yours. It's not yours to hold on to. It's not, don't claim those things. But holding on to those things, you practice not holding on to those things. You'll get better at it, and it'll be less, and you can handle situations better. You'll feel happier for it when you hold on to all these things. Like even grief, I know that's hard because you love someone. It's hard to let go, especially someone that's so close to you. It's hard. I get it. I really do get it. But it's harder on you when you hold on to it, right? It's easier when we know what's going on. Like we know that death is not truly real, but it's still hard for some people. Even though they know this, it's still hard because they really love hard. Some people just love hard and they don't want to let go of their loved ones. They think that they're letting go if they stop grieving them or something, but it's harder on you. Like honestly, it's harder on you. They have definitely passed on, and a lot of them are doing well, better than you think. It's if you go to a psychic medium and they can tell you if that's what you need, you know what I mean? They can tell you where the state of that person is, where their spirit is or what's going on with their spirit. Because trust me, I'm a medium. I've done that. I've gotten people and I've channeled people where they are and how they're doing, or they'll come to me to tell me a message to their loved ones, or it happens. So the state of a person, the spirits, you know what's going on, and it's helpful for others. That's why, if you need to talk to someone like a psychic medium, you can do so, and even if a spirit, I just want to put this out there because I'm talking about spirits now, is not where they should be, you actually can help them to get there. It's possible. So nothing's ever too lost or too far gone or too bad. People may feel that way because we're not taught to. I don't want to get into why, because that's a whole nother podcast of who's behind what and doing what and making us in low vibration. That's a whole nother podcast. But we're not taught that we are, because we're always taught that someone has to come and save us, or someone is going to come and save us. All these things, we're always looking outside of ourselves. We're never looking within, and that's horrible. What are you trying to say? Like, I'm not good enough to be able to, you know, do these things on my own when I have source in me. If I am source, it doesn't add up. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to go into that either. That's another podcast too. It doesn't add up, right? My point is, we can actually do all things. We can, otherwise what's the point of, why would a spirit come to a medium, someone who's chosen to do this, to cross them over? Because we are a source. We're part of this big game. We have our roles. There are roles in this game. All right. But everyone, and I mean everyone, is special in that way where we can take ourselves out of depression. We can uplift ourselves. We can do A, B, C, D. We can do all these things, right? We can do all things. You're going to sit around and you're constantly, I did say I wasn't going to get into that. Like I keep going back into that. I'm not going to do that. It's another podcast of what's keeping us down. I don't know. I'm jumping far and deep into something else, and I don't want to do that in this podcast. It's about rituals, right? And the fact that you don't necessarily need to do one, but there is power in them, which is why you're drawn to do them. So do what you feel. Honestly, I could have made this a 5-minute podcast, a 2-minute podcast just by saying that. But there's so many things that can be, there's so many things that we can talk about when it comes to rituals, like how to do them. I'm not here to tell you how. If you want to know how I do some of my rituals, you can learn some of them, but that's just a guide for you. It's not everything to you. Your intuition is whatever you want to work with. You want to work with candles, you want to do this, you want to do that, do it. But always make sure you're protected, know what you're doing, okay? I know that people say, well, the only time that you get any kind of psychic or spiritual attacks, anything like that, is when you're in low vibration. Yeah, that happens. But let me tell you, I've experienced it even when I was in a high vibration. I don't get it often anymore, to be honest with you. So there is truth to not being in low vibration, obviously. But sometimes when you're in a higher vibration, sometimes you do get attacked. Why? Because there are beings that can sense these things, and they do come for you, okay? I don't care what anybody tells me. It happens, okay? So, and there are spirits that will come and do this. They can sense your vibration. That is polarity. Polarity exists. You cannot be in the universe without polarity. There's positive and negative charges. And to me, what happens is life mimics the universe, which it's physics, it's science, right? So it's like positive charge, positive and negative charges are out there, right? We have that with electricity, right? And all those kind of things. But we also have it in real life, in our lives, where negativity happens and positivity happens. That's just the way it works. Everything is always the opposite. We have yin and yang. We have, fire and water. We have those kind of elements, and that's just how it works. Okay. I'm not going to get into whether it's good or a bad thing. Why does it have to happen? I'm just going to tell you that's how it works. And this is what we're dealing with. And we have to know that. When we know these things, it can make life easier. All right. Like I said, you can handle death better. Because let me tell you, there's at one point in my life, when I was younger, I couldn't handle death, right? I even missed saying goodbye to someone in the hospital because I just couldn't take seeing her in that condition. I just knew I couldn't. I didn't get to say goodbye because I couldn't handle death. But as I've gotten older and I learned what death really is, I'm telling you, my actual family members who have passed, and I thought I was going to be way worse. These are people I love with everything within me. And I was able to handle it really, really well, to be honest with you. I surprise myself each time it happens. So you can handle these things better when you know what you're working with. And then you also handle it better when you work on yourself and know that you can let them go, because they're fine. They're in the spirit realm doing their thing now. If you just realize what you're playing a game and everybody's playing their roles and not everything is what it seems, right? We're being tricked, right? But when you wake up to the lies, the deceptions, you can see that, oh wait, now this part of the game, they're helping me in the spirit realm because they've progressed to, you know what I mean? They've progressed to another level where they can actually start helping me in the other realm. All right. I hope this is all making sense because I know I'm jumping because I have a lot to say because I have so much knowledge that when I do talk, I end up going different places and then I try to bring myself back, and then it's in the bringing myself back where I might be confusing you guys because I keep stopping and trying to stop going into something further. I just want to stick with the topics, and I'm doing it alone, the podcast. When I have guests, I'm going to start trying to introduce guests. Then I can have a better flow. But I always want to jump around because I always have a lot to say. I talk a lot, which is why I know I can do this podcast. But sticking with the rituals, right? That's going back to how the elements are actually powerful, and we can use these things to our advantage instead of thinking, rituals are, that's voodoo, that's this and that. Okay, when you're doing that kind of stuff, people like to put in something evil towards these things, these traditional things, right? And these traditional things work. It's not evil. It's only your intentions, because even with things that are not, let's say you're Christian or Muslim, whatever you want to say, but I'm just giving examples. Let's say you're Christian. I have heard, and I know you have too, Christians praying against someone in a negative way, like take care of them in this way, Lord, and do this to them, Lord, because they've done this, like just some evil prayers. And I've heard people who are actually jealous of someone else pray against them, and that person has done nothing to them. So you have the ones who take revenge with their prayers, you have the ones who are jealous and just want the worst, and they'll still pray to their actual God, they'll still pray to Jesus about putting these people in horrible positions. All right, so it's about your intentions. My goodness, it's not that hard to understand, but people have been so manipulated deep down within that it really is that hard for them to understand. Okay, doing a ritual is about intentions. What are your intentions? You're calling in. So when I do them, it's because I'm inviting those that I know are around. Come on. We know there are spirits. We know there are different beings out there. We cannot be that naive to think that we're the only ones in the whole multiverse. Okay? We cannot. We can't. We have to start. We really got to start thinking for ourselves. Okay? And so and then outside of us here, the beings out there, can every single being be evil? Every single being outside of humans are evil? Just think about probability and possibilities and just how ridiculous that sounds. Not every single being is evil. Like, amongst humans, we have people who do wicked things. Come on, we have to really start thinking for ourselves. And I'm not talking to you in a way where I know I sound like I'm like having I don't know if I sound like I have an attitude or not. I don't know. But I just know that I'm saying come on, because I've heard some things, guys, and I know you have too. So it's a little frustrating to hear at times. And it's just like, it's frustrating because you want people to be happy. You don't want them miserable. I'm not frustrated because I think people are stupid and I'm just, oh my God, everybody's dumb. No, I'm actually frustrated because I want people to discover this joy that a lot of us have discovered in this spiritual journey, discover this peace, and like I said, it's not going to be all the time. I mean, it can't be, nothing can be all the time. Peaceful joy. It cannot be like that all the time. I get it. But majority of the time, it can be. Majority, yes, it can be. It can be. And it's like I said, practice makes perfect. You just have to practice being in a positive mindset. You're all right. It won't happen 24/7. It can't, but it will happen majority, and that's fantastic. Okay. And so that's my frustration. I want people to wake up to that you have power. I mean, those who are depressed and you've gotten yourself out of bed and go to work, because some people cannot do that, right? And you've done that, and you start giving other things credit for that, and you know very well that you truly know deep down, if you just really stop and think about it, you pushed yourself, because there are days you're doing the same prayer or whatever you're doing, and now I'm doing it again, I'm going back into something else, and you cannot push yourself those days, and you're praying. So whomever you're praying to did not lift you up and put you you can come for me in the comment section. I really don't care. I'm not even going to respond to you. It does not matter to me. I know what I know. You did not get lifted up, because I've been there. No one lifted you up and said, go on, my child, go. Every day was a struggle. And every day you said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. The day that you actually pushed yourself out of the bed, or the day that you actually got up, you know for a fact you said, I'm going to do this. And you jump up and you do this. You did it. You did it. You know that. That's the thing. You know that. That's why I'm not afraid to say this. I'm actually not afraid to say this. All right. I need to digress here, though. I need to digress. I just want people to realize you have power within yourself. Is that so bad for someone to want you to realize that you have power? All right. So I'm going to digress here. I am, because I'm jumping again. And it's about rituals, and I keep going back. Here's the thing. I know that everything is for a reason. There are no coincidences. There are no coincidences. And for me to keep going back to the fact that you have power in this podcast was not about that at all, means that this is the podcast I'm supposed to be doing. It's about telling someone needs to hear this. I know this because I keep going back to it. Remember, it's your intuition. So the fact that I keep going back to this, it's my higher self, me telling my ego, or, just showing up strong here, my higher self saying, no, right now, someone or people out there, even if it's one person, but I'm doing a podcast, I'm pretty sure it's multiple people out there, needs to hear someone just say, enough is enough. We really gotta start thinking for ourselves here and see that what is so wrong with people out there trying to wake people up, trying to tell them that they have power. You have power. Like, tell me, where's the negativity in that? Where's the demonic thing in someone saying you have power within yourself to say, I can get up and do this? Because the days you called on someone to help you, no one was helping you. You said, okay, enough is enough. And you got out of that bed and you went to work. You pushed through the whole day. And the thing is, you did, but because people are so manipulated. Now, I'm not saying that at one point not all of us, some of us, the majority of us have been there where we're like either going to like a church or a mosque, whatever we're doing. We have been manipulated at some point, right? To think that we can't do it on our own and we need to call upon someone to help us. And then sometimes the way people wake up is when they realize it didn't happen that way. I pushed myself. But deep down, people who continuously are believing those lies that we can't do it on our own, and we start giving someone outside of ourselves credit, or something outside of ourselves credit, apart from ourselves. We don't even give ourselves credit, to be honest with you, when we're in that situation. When we do that, right, we can't see that the parts where we said, I gotta do this. I can't anymore. I can't. I've been in this bed 5 days, 6 days. I've been a month. I can't do this anymore. I can't. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna do it. And you do it. You don't even remember that part. You don't remember that part because you're told that you cannot do this on your own. You cannot do this. All right. You did that. You said, I'm going to do this. I can't stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough. You said that you're going to do this. And don't let nobody tell you that you didn't believe enough in the other stuff. All right. Why it didn't work. And you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I thought I was believing with my whole heart and my whole everything, because you were, and it didn't work. Okay. I'm sorry. It's just because people will sit there and tell you you can't do something. You can do anything you put your mind to. All right. You are here with a purpose, on a mission. You got this. You got this. And for those it does actually seem like it's working, it's because it's that when you put, they even say inside of these establishments too, whatever you put your energy into, all your focus into, and all your belief into, it's going, you're giving it power. Why? Because everything is energy, and you are giving that thing life. Okay. All right. It doesn't happen like that for everyone, because some people have this thing in them where they're meant to wake up and they have a mission to wake up other people. So they're not that, it doesn't go that far for them. All right. I don't know how to explain that. Some people are just more easily manipulated, and that's just a fact. All right. I'm trying to sugarcoat it, and I'm like, wait, no, it's as simple as that. And it really is. Some people just more. I'm not saying that they're stupid, okay? There's a difference in someone just being a little bit more easier to be manipulated than others. It's not stupidity, okay? It's just something in the defense mechanism that's just not there because of maybe a trauma they had, where they're gonna trust this more. They need to lean on something more. So it's never that someone is stupid. I always say it's a trauma. It's something that they dealt with that when they were younger, that they didn't even realize that they were dealing with it. And so it kind of made them more susceptible to be manipulated. Okay. It happens. It's not stupidity. So with that being said, I'm going over my 25 limit. I don't want to make this too long. Some people, when they're like that and they give their all to this thing and it starts to work, or they thinking it's working, it's their energy giving that thing life. You are actually believing that this is going to work. It's kind of like the placebo effect, right? It's like that. But I'm sorry to tell you, it was you all along, because you're putting that energy and you're giving that thing life. Like I always tell people, like, well, if it worked for you, all right. Here I go. I don't mean to use religion, but I'm telling you, I'm just going to compare some things. It's just easier to give examples. If it worked for the Christian over here, and then the same thing worked for the Muslim over here who believes in their God, why did it work for the both of you? Guys, we got to start thinking. We have to start thinking for ourselves. It works because you believe it would work. You believed it would work. You gave it energy. You gave that thing power. So you are the actual healer. All right? You are the healer, because you are source. Everything is one. Everything has that spark within them. Everything that has that same light within them. Or I'm naming different ways that you can call this thing, right? We have that same element. Everything has it. Everything has these spinning molecules, doesn't it? Right? That's why it's a game. Everything is like a simulation, because everything is not truly solid. It's the particles, the molecules moving very quickly. All right. Anyway, like I said, I'm getting into quantum physics. So we're not doing this right now. I need to get off this podcast because I'm going to start to go into so many different things, and I just want to keep it one topic. And this is the first time I've really strayed this much and talked this openly and serious about something, because I'm always trying not to offend too much, but speak my truth at the same time. Because when you don't speak your truth, it's not healthy for you physically, and it's just not healthy at all for you. If you have a truth to speak, it's your truth, man. Speak it. And so I do speak it, but I never been so raw with it before. And I really am all over the place, and I don't want to confuse you guys, and I don't want to just, be all over the place with the topic. I already strayed from the topic and went to the topic that the universe clearly wanted me to talk about, which is that you have power. And I just want you to go write this down. I said it so many times in this podcast. You have power. Write it down. Use this. You have power. Words are everything. Okay? Why do you think the water changed when he just wrote something down? He didn't even speak to it. You just write it down on the glass and it changed. Okay? It's powerful. There's spells. Spelling bee. You're spelling their words. They're spelling. Your words are spells. Use it the right way. We can't always change all the words. It's impossible. We wouldn't be able to speak to each other if we just start changing. Like I say, understand, right? For some people, I'll just kind of change it just because I want them to get what I'm saying. So sometimes I might say understand, or that's rare, but I'll say I get you. I say I get you a lot, right? Because I want people to be able to understand what I'm saying when I'm talking to them. I don't want to just change every single word. It's not possible. You can't communicate that way. I still say grand rising. I talk like that. They're spells. Okay. Morning. Why do we have multiple meanings for one word all the time? They're spells. All right. We got to get with this. Okay. And I know a lot of you might know that. Okay. So yes, it's impossible to change all the words, but what we can do with the words is put our intentions really strongly into the words that we're speaking and change some of them at least. People will get what you're saying with certain words that you do change, or you just change it for the majority of the day. You can't use it with everybody, right? But for the majority of the day, and just set your intentions in when you wake up. All right? When you wake up in the rising, you just say, you just set your intentions. I don't want this to be too long. Let me know if you don't mind a longer podcast. I can do a longer podcast. Trust me, ask anybody. I can do this. And won't be so jumpy. I'm jumping around a lot because I'm always trying to stick with the topic, and then I'm like being drawn to do something else. And so it's a little jumpy. This one is very, very all over the place. I know that. All right. But I had to speak what they wanted me to speak. By the way, if you've made this far, just know that I am a channeler. I can channel things. So, and I don't, what I want to say is I channel things, yes. And I also do what I'm told. So if I'm told, because I'm a messenger. So if I came here on the podcast to talk about rituals and they're telling me constantly I'm talking about something else, clearly that's what they want me to say. I can't keep on fighting them and saying, no, the topic is rituals. The topic is rituals. No, now the topic is power. Know that you have it. Period. Your life will be better for it. Know that you get the power to get yourself out of depression, out of grief, out of a lot of things. Can you complain? Yes. Complain. Vent. Life happens to people, man. Then after that, you pick yourself back up, man. Is it fun? It's as simple as this. And I know I keep trying to end this podcast. It's as simple as this, and I end it with this. It's as simple as this. Yeah, like you're talking to a child, right? You say, well, does it feel good to, what does a child do? Bang your head against the wall? I don't know, a couple of times. Does it feel good to do that? Or does it feel better when you sit down and you watch TV or you're coloring with your brother? You know what I mean? It's so easy. Does it feel good to constantly be depressed? No, so try. What I meant by easy is as easy as knowing what you want is what I meant. Not that it's easy to do. Sorry about that. That's not what I meant at all. Trust and believe me. All right. Easy as knowing what feels good, what doesn't. Try to let go. Try your best to let go. I guarantee you that the ones who are holding on so tight is because it's hard for them to let go of, when it comes to grief, it's hard to let go of the person. right? Even if you know all the tricks and all the things that we all like, oh, I know that death is not real. Oh, I know this and that. It's, you love so hard, and that's beautiful. You are a beautiful being. You love hard. But you gotta let the person go. The spirit is good, is always gonna be with you. Trust me, it's gonna be with you. It's just another level of the game. When we start looking at it as a game, we're like, oh, this is the next level that they're on. Now they're gonna help me from that realm beat this game. You know what I mean? Like, we have to just change our thinking a little bit. Those who resonate. Those who don't, you don't, and that's okay. You don't have to resonate with me. I'm okay with it. You should be okay with it. Move on. You don't gotta be here. Just move on. It's okay. Do not be offended. This is not for you then. Just know that it's not for you. All right? You don't have to agree with me. You don't. It's okay. We all are here to just live our lives. You just let me live mine here on my podcast. If you don't like it, it's okay. You don't have to be here. Don't worry about it. Move on. But I hope that those who needed to hear it really received it. Really and truly. All right? Listen, I don't do this often. I try to like do a little quick commercial. I put it in there or something. I get a little shy to promote myself, but not right now. If you need help moving forward, moving on, or anything like that, I do spiritual counseling. All right, hit me up. My email, everything is going to be in the description box below. It's always there. Don't hesitate. Okay. Or anything else that you need. I do a lot. My website has all that I do. It might be a little bit scary or intimidating to look at because I do a lot. All right. I do a lot there. So, but you know what you came there for. So you reach out. All right. So much love to you guys. All right. This is the rawest I've ever been. And trust me, I won't jump like this if I do them a little longer. If I do my podcast longer and I have a topic at hand, I can do it. And I can split it up perfectly. And if I do get distracted, next time I won't try to fight it a little. I was trying to fight it in the beginning. I won't fight it like that. I'll just let it run smoothly. All right. I am going to sign out. Until next time, my beautiful lovelies, my Crystal-Lization nation, the nation. All right, my nation. Next podcast. I'm out.